NBL is in the house. What's happening, baby? How are you doing today, man? Buzz, what's happening, baby? Mr. Cruz, Charlie, what's going on, buddy? Carlos is in the house. Great to see you. My man John, what's going on? Here comes the judge. What's up, Jeff? What's up? And Charlie Cruz, just before I forget, brother, your package is mailed today, man. Package went in the mail today. Should be getting it in the next couple of days. How's everybody doing today? Al is in the house. What's up, Al? How are you doing, buddy? Mr. Carter, Alan Carter's in the house. What's going on, man? How are you doing? What's up, James? How are you doing, buddy? Let's give them a few minutes, man. I love today's topics. We're gonna be focusing on stick burners, on some offset smoking, man. Doesn't get much better than that. Alan, how have you been doing? What's going on? Another minute, folks. Another minute. Joseph Tocayo, what's happening, man? Joseph Puente is in the house. How are you doing? Good to see you this evening. Jeff, for sure, man. I love him, and I guess I was talking to Trumpet on Al's live earlier this week, and I mentioned that as much as I love him, I am not going to do an overnight cook on a stick burner. I really value my sleep, man. And I am not much of a low and slow on stick burners for the same reasons, man. Nobody has that kind of time where you're purposely extending your cook. But we're gonna get into all that. Charlie, I'm holding some aside, man. I want to do like a stuffed baked potato video. You know, and probably use my flat top. We'll see if that ever comes to fruition. But yeah, there's some leftovers. Matter of fact, one of my buddies just picked up his little package maybe an hour ago. I've still got a package from my daughter. She hasn't come around yet. But man, that was awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're at that 5 hour mark, man. As usual, Mom and I want to thank all of you guys for dropping in to hang out with us for a few. Excuse me. Today's topic, man, are joys of stick burners. The joy of smoking on an offset smoker. We all know the pros, the cons, uh, the issues, the problems that can arise when you're not well versed in the use of your stick burner. Yeah, and like anything else, man, it all comes with practice. It's one of those things where even if you're not comfortable, the more you use that thing, the better you're going to get, the more comfortable you're going to get. Of course, by now, just about everybody knows All of you guys know that Mom and I, we just received our stick burner maybe 2 months or so ago. Put it through its paces, man, and now I'm ready to start doing some videos on it. The first reel, what I would consider a tutorial, was of course dropped earlier this week, Tuesday. That brisket, and there are going to be many more to come, man. Many more to come. Alan, how's that weather out there in the Pacific Northwest, man? I am telling you, I had every intention, sports fans. I had every intention of of holding today's live stream in the new kitchen, in the new outdoor kitchen. But I'm here to tell you right now, 8 o'clock, it is 100 degrees. And we've got ceiling fans out there, man, but they're blowing hot air. So I don't see us using the kitchen for live streaming until fall or winter. Right now it is brutal in Texas, man. Yesterday's high was like 106 at 6 p.m. So right now it is brutal. Buzz, I can totally understand that, man. I'm here to tell you, I love channels that are doing things outside of the norm. I love channels that are doing things outside of the norm. I'm one of those. I'm one of those individuals, man. I am always looking for inspiration. I'm always looking to learn, and I definitely see myself getting that every time I watch one of Al's videos. So I can totally understand that. Definitely becoming a favorite, man. Buzz, I'm telling you. And I saw I saw like a brisket stuffed baked potato on the Food Network, one of their restaurant shows, and I was I think it was Guy Fieri Diners Triple D, uh, and I saw that baked potato and they used brisket, and immediately I thought, wow, I could do something with that. Of course, I'm going to make Papa Joe's tweaks, but I can definitely see that in the very near future, man. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see. Buzz, that is another good one, man. And I'm here to tell you, uh, we've divvied out uh, the majority of the flat of that brisket. And I'm saving the point for all this good stuff that I plan on doing in the very near future. So we didn't give away much point. Steven, what's happening, buddy? Great to see you this evening, man. Great to see you this evening. So, folks, I don't care what you cook on, man. I don't care how you feel about any grills out there. Today we're talking stick burners. We're not knocking any other types of grill because you guys know that on the deck, man, I've got a little bit of quite a few things. I've got Weber's, I've got Expert Grills, I've got Drum, I've got the WSM. So I've got the pellet grills, three different models of the pellet grills. So I am definitely a fan of everything on my deck, but there's just something about stick burners, and I don't know if it's the fact that it brings us a little closer to our uh, our caveman roots, actually manipulating fire as opposed to a pellet grill or a charcoal grill or something along those lines. I really enjoy that. I get serious satisfaction, man, when I open that firebox and I see that nice small fire, that beautiful flame, that beautiful blue smoke. I get so much satisfaction knowing that I can maintain that. I can maintain a consistent temperature over a prolonged cook. So there's definitely something more satisfying about successfully cooking something with a stick burner as opposed to doing the same thing, with a Traeger or some other pellet grill, or just something that's easier to 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 maintain temperature throughout the cook. I don't want to fall behind in this chat, man. So let me make sure I am keeping up. Wow. Man, Pacific Northwest, 78 degrees. That is, man, I'd pay money for that right now, Alan. I would pay money. John, I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling. Mom and I, we were out there on the deck, on the kitchen yesterday, trying to figure out where we're going to put things. We put together some outdoor furniture, man, and I broke a sweat the entire, uh, uh, probably 5 6 hours we were out there. It was brutal, and this was in the morning. Uh, so I totally understand. I'm not built for this heat either, man. But I've got to cook on the offset coming up on Saturday, and it's going to be right now. The high on Saturday is supposed to be 104. So I'm going to try to get this cook knocked out on the offset early Saturday. I hope to be done by mid afternoon. Jeff, you know the deal. It's that Baghdad hot. it it just really, you mentioned that, it just reminds me of going into one of those porta potties in Baghdad, man, in Iraq. Going into one of those porta potties and coming out of there soaking wet, man, from sweat. It is that kind of heat. I really think that's going to work well, Buzz. Yeah, I would love to see that, man. Yeah, I would love to see that. Charlie Cruz, it's one of those things, man. I often say it. If you're not learning, you're dying, man. If you're not learning, you're falling behind. There's no option to stay in one place. That's why I will watch anybody, man, and I can get a little something from everybody out there. NBL, we appreciate your support too, man. We absolutely appreciate your support. You've been here for us, and we don't take that lightly. Brian Vstrom in the house. What's up, 1K? And for those of you who missed it, man, Charlie Cruz was the winner of the little, I guess, the length of time the cook was going to take during last Thursday's live stream. And I giggled because during last Thursday's live stream, when you guys were putting in your estimates, and I saw the 20 hours and the 22 hours, I was like, wow, some of these guys are really far off, or I am seriously underestimating how long this cook is going to take. Because if I didn't want to put a number out there to sway anybody. But in my head during that live stream, I was thinking 13 hours. I was dead set on 13 hours. I didn't think it would go past 13 hours. Um, and I think, because of the quality of that brisket, the uh, the the consistent temperature that pit held, I think those two things primarily played into how quickly it cooked. Because this was not a 300. This pit ran pretty much, man, 250 to 265 or so, and it stayed there consistently. When I wrapped, I accidentally left the door open, and it jumped, but I got it back down quickly after I put that wrapped brisket back on there. So when I heard the 20 and the 22, I knew that you guys were way off. And I'm telling you, Mom and I giggled because when we were going back over the times, uh, Charlie Cruz put like 5 different times in. And I told Mama, I said, whatever his last, and he called all of them official. He called all of them official. So I told Mama, whatever Charlie's last time is, that's the one we're going to go with. And he was fortunate in that his last time was 12.9. And I don't know if he meant 12.9 minutes or 12.9 hours, but either way, he would have still been the closest. So your package is in the mail, Charlie. You've got a Mom and Papa Joe t-shirt and a cap coming, man. Thank you guys for your support. And folks, we're going to do more of this. They're not going to be announced because one of the things I really don't want with this live stream, man, is to uh, have people come in for prizes. I want to give the prizes to people who are here, if you can understand that. I want to give the goodies to people who are here. I don't want you coming in just for it. So they're going to be announced, and they're just going to happen on the live stream on a regular basis. Thanks, all you guys and gals, for your support, man. We absolutely love you. What are you guys sipping on today, man? It is so hot. I don't want anything to do with hard alcohol, no liquor. So I've been sipping on beer, man, for the last couple of hours. So let's talk stick burners. First of all, I know a lot of people, some people aren't very comfortable with them. That is not a problem. We all started somewhere. We all started somewhere. Uh, if you are ever in the market, you've been thinking about it, man, check with people who have them. Check with the size of a offset you want. And I'm here to tell you that bigger is always better. You know, you can cook a small amount of you can cook a small amount of meat on a large grill, but you cannot cook a large amount of meat on a small grill. So if you're looking for an offset, make sure you get one that has a significant capacity. You'll be better for it. And when it comes to offset, folks, you know, social media is here, man. Your brothers and sisters are here to help you along. So there should be no hesitation in terms of you pulling the trigger if you're feeling that you want one. Big D's from Delaware is in the house, man. How are you doing? Brian, that's the absolute truth, man. Yeah, that is the absolute truth. And again, there's nothing wrong with the pellet grills. You know, I love them. I love my Weber's, the whole 9 yards. But when it comes right down to it, man, there's nothing but wood, fire, smoke, and meat, man. When we start dealing with those stick burners, yes, sir. Bear weather, man. Nothing hard right now. Yeah, we could do with some rain as well. Do not want to run up my water bill trying to keep this grass looking good. uh, it is a nice shirt, Brian. So once you've decided you want to get an offset, man, you know, you check with your brothers and sisters out there, see if they've got the same thing. Look at some reviews. I'm here to tell you, you want something that's heavier. You don't want. I know we're all on budgets, but you don't want to go so cheap that you end up with something that's paper thin that will not hold temperature, will not last. So spend a couple of extra dollars, man, to get something that's heavy enough. And once you've got that thing together, man, one of the first things you want to do is, of course, season it. We've got a video out there about seasoning. And then you want to find your sweet spots. You know, you want to light a fire in that thing. Uh, Great way. I love. There's so many different ways. A lot of you guys out there love fire cups. A lot of you have other methods of starting your fires. But one of the first things with your stick burner is you want to get a nice bed of coals. Uh, and if you choose to start your stick burner fire with all wood, it's going to take a little longer to get things going. but that is an alternative. I love starting mine with charcoal briquettes or with lump. And based on the pit, it's going to take more or it's going to take less. I quickly learned with this new Canon fabricated pit that, man, all I need is about 15 briquettes. If I go much more than 15 briquettes, man, the fire immediately gets too hot and my temps shoot up. And I figured that out within 2 or 3 times of lighting it. So I will not put more than 10 to 15 briquettes in there. Light them, and by now you guys know I light everything with propane. I've never been into the waxes. I've never been into the straws. I understand that they say they're all natural, but I've just never been into them. Propane is a little pricey nowadays, but it doesn't take me much to get my fire going. And time is always an issue. You know, I can be cooking or I can be preheating that pit in give or take 10, 12, 15 minutes max, man, as opposed to half an hour, 45 minutes that it might take someone else. So I will light those briquettes, man. I'll give them 5 minutes till I see them flaming on their own. Then I'll come in with a couple of small sticks. And I need to stop calling the wood that I'm burning logs because they're so small. They're just sticks. Uh, you want something a little longer than for my pit, a little longer, man, than a soda can, and just about the same in diameter. And based on your pit, man, you'll be able to get anywhere from a half an hour to give or take 45 minutes burning, if your firebox is insulated. But again, if your firebox isn't insulated, there's some things you're going to have to play with as you get to know your pit. Let's see. Big D he said 9 hours and 20 minutes because he didn't think I could keep it at 50. So he figured it would run 275 or 300. I totally understand that. Uh, and man, it was, my first real long cook on that pit, and pleasantly surprised at how well and how easily I was able to maintain that 250, man. Never shot up beyond 265 or so. And whenever it got up to that 265, it was a couple of 5-10 minutes after I put on a fresh stick, and it would settle back in. So, but that was not a bad call, Big D's. One of my favorites, Alan, Little Crown Royal. And if I was to do it right now, I would add a little Crown, a little Coke. Again, man, just so hot for me. I cannot deal with straight liquor right now. Charlie said he adjusted his time after I gave some crucial info. uh, Delaware Barbecue says he just switched to a Meadow Creek 250 from a cabinet smoker. I'm going to write that one down because I need to see what that one is. Delaware, I do not know. Meadow Creek. Okay. 250. All right. But how do you like it? Have you done a lot of cooking on it so far? Buzz, all right, started with an old char griller offset and moved up to a Brazos. I know those. Yeah. Yeah, I know those. Good pitch. Yeah, good spit. There you go, Buzz. Exactly. Half a chimney of lump, man, and add some splits that fit your firebox. Excuse me. So again, you've just got to get to know your pit, man. And I will tell you, if your pit is built properly, it's going to take a very small fire to get things going and to maintain temperatures. Now, if your pit has some problems, with the way it's put together, firebox size versus chamber size versus stack size and things aren't drafting properly, then you might need a bigger fire to get to 250 or to get to 275. But when that pit is properly put together, firebox matches stack, or stack matches chamber, chamber matches firebox. When those three things come together, it's going to take a very small fire, especially if if your firebox is insulated. Very small fire. Glenn, how are you doing, buddy? Thank you so much, man. We absolutely appreciate your support. We absolutely appreciate your support. This is a great community, man. A lot of awesome people right here in this chat, man. That are very knowledgeable and willing to share their experiences. Thank you for stopping in. So recently, I also saw a couple of videos, folks, and it's not for me. I saw a video, and this is a restaurant right here in Texas where they are putting meat on the pits before they light their fires. Have you guys ever seen or heard of that? If so, what do you think about it? This restaurant, and it's a very successful restaurant, is putting their meats on the pit before they light their fire. And I saw it in a video. And then once they lit their fire, once they put their meat on the grill, on the pit, they lit their fire and they poured beef tallow on the fire. You know, I was shocked that they were putting this on video and saying this is what they did, because I know how oil burns. At least I think I know how oil burns, and I just don't know that that would be a very delicious flavor. What do you guys think about that one? Not calling any names. Delaware says he loves the Meadow Creek. It's a reverse flow, so easy to run. I'm telling you, uh, Mom and I gave a private class, and we cooked on a gentleman's reverse flow smoker during that private class, and one of the prettiest end product was delivered by that reverse flow smoker. So I've never owned one, but I do understand that they do great work, Delaware. I do understand that. Okay, so they're still making them. They're still in business. Okay. I can deal with that. Yeah, I can deal with that. Yeah, Alan, so am I, man. Yeah, so am I. I just didn't understand it. You know, I I can see putting your meat on at 200, at 200 degrees, because at 200 degrees that smoke is already pretty clean. Now, even at 200, I think you're still going to get a little heavier smoke than some people might like, but that is for me that is a safe temperature once your pit has reached it to put meat on. But to put the meat on and then light the fire, I just don't see how that's going to produce a great product. Now I saw it by this restaurant, man. Yeah, I saw it by the restaurant. Very successful restaurant as I speak. So somehow or other, uh, it seems that they've gotten it to work for them. Yes, sir, Buzz. You're going to be adding a small split that fits your pit about every 45 minutes or so. And it's going to differ from pit to pit. But you can be anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. And I would think that a small split is going to be different from person to person. But uh, you do it long enough, you're going to come to understand what your pit likes, what your pit wants to maintain that temperature. So another thing, man, you have to do with those stick burners is you've got to find your sweet spots. Whether you've got one door to the chamber or two doors to the chamber, uh, whether you've got one shelf, two shelves, or four individual shelves. You know, if you've got four individual shelves, you want to know exactly what's happening in terms of temperature at each of those great levels. So what I did with mine, I've got the wireless thermometers where I was able to put a probe on each shelf, dead center of each shelf, and monitor the temperatures for all those shelves. Because without a doubt, 9 times out of 10, your chamber thermometer temperature is going to be different than your great temperature. So knowing what great temperature is at all on all levels will really help you in calculating. All right, if this shelf is saying 250 when the chamber thermometer is saying 300, then I know that if I want to run at 250, I got to make sure the chamber thermometer is saying 300. And from there, you could just calculate for any one of your shelves. And that is what I did, a month or so ago when I was putting this pit through its paces. El Barrio's in the house. What's happening, buddy? How are you doing, man? How are you doing? So very important that you know exactly what's happening at each on each level, each grade. And once you found those sweet spots, man, you as a cook, you as a pit master will know what temperature you want to cook something at. I'm going to put this particular thing on this shelf because I want to cook this is a little slower. If I'm going to do chicken, man, I'm going to want to cook this chicken a little hotter, so I'm going to put it on one of the hotter shelves or maybe even my hottest shelf. Very important to know. Very important. One of the benefits to stick burners, man, is capacity. You know, they they're not you're not there are no barriers in terms of fire getting in the way. Uh, you're not having shelves stacked on top of shelves like you would in an upright. You've got wide open spaces, uh, capacity for a lot of meat. Now, one of the drawbacks is they do come with a larger footprint. For those of you living with small yards or in apartments, if those apartments allowed fires, uh, they do take a quite a bit of a they do make quite a bit of a footprint. So that is one of the drawbacks. But I'm here to tell you that nothing will beat that smoke flavor that you're going to get from that stick burner. El Barrio says he can relate to the different temperature ranges. He's got a 30 by 60 and it's a job staying consistent. And that's just the thing, man. Uh, trying to get a stick burner to be consistent in terms of temperature from end to end is a difficult task. And for me, it's just so much easier to know exactly where each shelf wants to run and then figure out how I'm going to cook at those temperatures as opposed to chasing a temperature. You know, uh, I know that I can probably bring my lowest shelf in terms of temperature, I can probably bring that down to 225. 225. That means I'm going to have to adjust the size of my fire using smaller sticks because man, that pit so well insulated does not require much fire to really get hot. I figured that out quickly. So if you've got a 25-degree difference from left to right, uh, knowing that, man, it should be easy to cook. One of the drawbacks, and I don't consider it a drawback, I just consider it part of the job. So some people might look at it as a drawback, is the fact that on a stick burner, when you're cooking multiple pieces of a particular meat, you might have to rotate those pieces from left to right. All right. For me, that's a part of the job. I don't have a problem. I don't look at that as a drawback or as a con. I know that is a part of the process. All right. I'm going to have briskets on all the shells. I know at some point, maybe every 2 hours, maybe every hour and a half, based on how things are coloring, I'm going to be moving those things from left to right and then rotating them. So all this comes with taking the time to learn that pit. And I guarantee you, man, you're going to end up with a quality product. You're going to end up with a quality product. Man, it's good info, man. All these guys have got great info, Charlie. Trumpet is in the house. What's going on, Luis? ¿Cómo está, hermano? All is well, man. All is well. Buzz said exactly, CJ. The upper shelves are going to be the microwave, especially towards the stack, at least on his. All right. And he likes to throw a block of wood on the bottom shelf next to the fire to block some heat. Oh, man, I'm glad you brought that up, Buzz. My pit, the Canon offset we've got out back, the coolest shelf, and it just runs at a perfect temperature, is the shelf I'm currently using for videos. It's the bottom left shelf. Then, if I want to go to the next warmest, it's about a 20-degree difference if I move to the right bottom shelf. And then it's about another 25 degrees hotter if I move to the top right shelf. And then if I come back over to the top left shelf where the stack is, just like you said, Buzz, that wants to run at 325. So knowing this, man, I know where I can put different proteins. If I'm cooking different proteins, I know that if I'm cooking briskets and I'm using the bottom shelves, that probably hour and a half to 2 hours, I'm going to be rotating to make sure that all these briskets are going to cook at similar times, similar periods. Mama's in the house. All right. Any newcomers? Any newcomers, man? Say hi. Let us know you're here. Yes, El Barrio. The Jambo that we just sold had that microwave shelf on the top left, and that thing was running 400. That thing was running 400, and that bottom left, that's where I used to cook everything, just like this pit, just like this pit. So the jump from one pit to another wasn't that large a transition, man, because they ran similar ways. Of course, the Jambo is significantly larger. It took a larger fire, a little bigger stick, but control is just as simple. Now, the Jambo was controlled by the exhaust, by adjusting the exhaust. The Canon is controlled by adjusting the intake. So one of the some differences. All right, Mama's saying hi. 40 minutes in. Yes, Buzz. And I don't know if you remember, I mentioned that in the brisket video. That's why that large brisket that took up that shelf from side to side, I really wanted to cover that point, to cover that flat with a little foil to protect it from the heat at that stack. Because man, things can get hot down there, and it worked perfectly. It worked perfectly. Folks, one of the things you want to do with briskets, man, on the offset, you know, put that thick end, that point towards the firebox. And at some point, once you've got a good color, you're going to want to cover that up just to prevent it from drying, cracking, and maybe even burning. You also want to do the same thing with the flat end because that can happen uh, based on how close that brisket is to the stack because things can warm up over there, like Buzz is saying. Judge, for those of you that are out on summer break, man, the summer is moving pretty fast. I heard Mama crying to somebody on the phone that she's only got like 3 weeks left. Yeah, the summer is moving fast. Thank you, El Barrio. Thank you, man. So Mama and I are just trying to we're just trying to furnish it with some outdoor stuff, man. And we're trying to find common ground. Because she doesn't want to believe that I know best. Thank you, Charlie. Wow. Johnny's in the house. My man. How have you been doing, Johnny? Great to see you, man. Thanks for stopping in. Thank you for stopping in. Wow. Yosef is in the house. Folks, I haven't seen some of these folks, man, in a good little bit. Great to see you guys. We appreciate you stopping in to hang out with us for a few, man. Buzz, I will tell you, man, the Jambo, if you're not competing, especially competing on a regular basis, it just wasn't going to get the job done for me hooking up the truck, pulling it out to do a video with a rack of ribs or to do a video with one brisket. It just it wasn't worth it. Meanwhile, uh, especially when you can sell something at a profit. And it worked out nicely, man. We were able to put that Jambo money into the kitchen, and we've got its replacement in the back that we plan on using on a regular basis with these videos. But the Jambo served us well, and I will continue to tell people that it can be argued that it is one of the top two competition pits nationally. Top two. It can be argued. It's a great pit. I loved it. Yes, most pits are going to be with the intake, man. The Jambo is just a different animal, and it's a different animal in that regard, man. Uh, I've only owned three. This is our third offset, actually fourth offset, and all of them were controlled at the intake, except for the Jambo. Yeah, except for the Jambo. Yes, Mama, it's great to see Joseph again, man. It has been a little while. Yeah. Tomas, what's happening, buddy? Tom is in the house, man. Good to see you this evening. Boy, you're gonna be in trouble. He said, he said she's driving him crazy for the last month and a half. That boy is something else, man. That boy is something else. uh, now, let me ask you guys, and it's a personal preference, one door or two doors on your offset? Pros and cons, one door or two doors? Two doors. I don't know what's wrong with my lips today. And this is only my second beer. Buzz, I got you. Buzz, I got you. Johnny says he cook on a Lone Star. I know the Lone Star grills, man, are beautiful. I really got to know quite a bit about them from watching Joe Miller's videos with his Lone Star grill. They make a quality product. And here's my deal. I'm a fan of two doors simply because I think you lose less heat. You lose less chamber temperature when you open those things as opposed to one large door, especially if you only need to check something on on the left hand side or something on the right hand side. Uh, then your pit does not have to spend a whole lot of time recovering. So for that reason, I love two doors. Now, I'm also a fan of cooking whole animals. While I haven't done one yet, there are going to be times where I wish, man, I could put a whole hog on this thing and stretch it across from side to side, as opposed to having that bar in the middle because I have two doors. So uh, for me, the pros are uh, heat retention with two doors. Cons, heat loss with one door, but then you gain the ability to cook a large singular piece of meat on that pit that I would not be able to do because I have two doors. So pros and cons. So it would all depend on what you plan to do, how often you plan on cooking larger animals, whether or not you want a two door versus one. Yes, Charlie. They both had advantages, man, and disadvantages. You just have to pick which you would consider the lesser evil, if you want to call him that. Buzz is a one door man. All right, right along with me. Randy's in the house. What's happening, Randy? What is going on? Oh yeah, Mom, I forgot that, man. Folks, I want to say episode 3. This Monday is going to be episode 2. And you might want to watch that one too. But I think it's episode 3 where you're going to see some familiar faces. This is on the Food Network, and it's 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central Standard Time, and it should be a lot of fun, man. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Great minds think alike, Johnny. Yes. Area versus control. Yosef said he had a Lone Star, sold it now, looking at a Moberg. Yosef, I'm here to tell you, those Mobergs are the truth. I've only cooked on one once. It wasn't ours. We borrowed it for a benefit. And we put 16 brisket on that thing. No, we put a combination of briskets and pork butts. And I cannot remember the total. We put 16 brisket for another benefit. I can't remember the total, but that pit, that large pit, held 275 without any effort whatsoever all night long. Created a beautiful product. So Moberg makes a quality large pit, man. That is why you see them in so many restaurants right now. So that would be a great choice, man, if you ever decided to pull the trigger. And that's a nice size. It's not one of those submarines, but it will definitely take a lot of meat. Johnny says his Lone Star has one, but his big reverse flow has three doors. Wow. He got the one door in case he ever wanted to cook a whole hog. Yeah, exactly what I was saying, Johnny. Yeah, exactly. Alan, take care, man. Good to see you. Stop in again. We'll definitely be looking forward to it. You take care. Have a good evening. Yeah, Buzz. If you're gonna cook a large one piece meat, man, that one door definitely makes life simple. Yeah, it definitely does. Randy, I've seen those Galindo smokers on social medias, man. I haven't been I haven't had the privilege of touching one or cooking on one just yet, but he makes a quality looking pit as well. Yeah, he makes a quality looking pit as well. And folks, for those of you out there who don't have a true stick burner or a true offset, I've been getting it done with the Weber, man. I've been getting it done with the WSM or whatever the case might be. You know, you can get those contraptions they have out there, the smokinators, the what are some of the other contraptions called, man, where you can create an offset, and they can get the job done until you do decide to pull the trigger. But make no mistake, there's no substitute, for a stick burner. And I'll tell you, once you get a hold of one, you're gonna quickly come to that conclusion for yourself. You cannot beat them, man. You cannot beat them, folks. I am thinking before we get out of here, I am thinking that that uh, I might I might run a quick live, maybe half an hour or so. Uh, I've got a special rack of rib that I'm going to cook on Saturday, and I'll probably trim it live. Uh, it's a beautiful rack of ribs, man. I've never seen a rack so thick, so marbled, so pretty. And again, it was just at my HEB. I didn't order or anything. I walked in there, and there it was. This rack of rib weighs about almost 10 pounds. It is thick. I'm talking cold peanut butter thick. So I probably will come hang out tomorrow in the afternoon. It won't be this late, maybe 6, 7 o'clock. And if you guys are free, man, just come hang out for a little bit. We'll chew the fat. We'll trim that rack of ribs, and I will probably throw it on the pit on Saturday, uh, mid morning, and try to get out that heat by mid afternoon. Oh yeah, went from the pit maker vault back to a stick burner. I've cooked on the pit maker. I've never owned one, but I've cooked on plenty of maker vaults. And while they do a good job, man, they're no stick burners. And matter of fact, Johnny, I was just talking about those 16 briskets. We had those on pit maker, a vault. Cooked them beautifully. Very even cook, man. All those briskets came off at the same time. But again, that end flavor just is not going to outdo a a true stick burner. So with that, man, we're gonna call it an evening, folks. With that, we're gonna call it an evening. So once again, be on the lookout, man, for a quick live stream tomorrow, give or take 7 p.m. We'll trim out that rack of ribs. I will throw that on the pit on Saturday, and then we're going to be looking at another video on Tuesday. I want to thank you guys and gals for hanging out with us as usual, man. We absolutely appreciate it. Knock out tomorrow, man, and enjoy your hot weekend. All right. So in the meantime, Mom and I want you guys to take care of yourselves. Look out for each other, and we're going to see you when we see you. Trumpet, I see you. I see you, Trumpet. Yeah, I want you to come in there and give me some pointers, man. All right, folks, y'all take care.